Progressive Chicago, what a blessing it is to lay eyes on you. Man, the Lord has given us so much grace and we've made so many strides.
Yeah.
We've been through a pandemic, y'all, and we've thrived.
Yeah, by the grace of God.
By God's grace in this pandemic. And so sometimes it's important for us to slow down, catch our breath, and appreciate what the Lord has done. And so our conversation today will be about next steps. What is the Lord leading us and giving us the grace to do next?
Yeah, you know, when I think about the story of the children of Israel, there are things that they are told not to forget. In fact, the language is, don't forget to remember these things. And so it's helpful for us as a church not only to take a peek at where we've come from, but also to sense where we're going. And I think though this may be a bit of a longer break in our worship experience, it's important that we call everybody to remember and then to move forward.
Yes. For our newer Progressive Chicago members, can you kind of, who may not know,
right?
Can you kind of take them back and talk about what the church was?
Progressive Chicago is a historic church. And so we came in 2011, I think it was 90-something years old, 93 years old or thereabout.
Wow.
And that came all of the challenges of stepping into an older historic congregation. So the walls were blue. There was wood paneling around the balcony in the sanctuary. The lower level looks almost nothing like it looks today. And there was Black Jesus with Jerry Curl, who we know and love, baptizing in the River Jordan, and painted, hand painted, beautiful, great, you know, that kind of Renaissance art almost, as it were, was a thing. And, you know, I came in just having celebrated my 30th birthday at the time, eager, full of energy, and running against the wind. But by the grace of God, we had more wind blowing at our back than we had against us. And at that age, you know, you think you're gonna see a church turn overnight, you would imagine. I knew intellectually that would not happen, but I didn't know emotionally exactly how long it would take. And so we began to see ministry revitalized. We began to handle the shifts and the changes in music and in Christian education, and without going into detail, even in leadership.
Yes, sir.
And now to see a church that has a bit more than 10 full-time employees, not to mention all the contractual elements that go on, a church that is reaching families and younger people and still not alienating our seniors. This is a season in which I have to pause and thank God to say, surely the Lord has brought us to this point, has been our help, and has been faithful.
Yes, sir.
And so now the question is, do we stop? Do we pause? Or what in the world do we do to further this mission? What do we sense God calling us to do?
What are the next improvements you feel we need to advance our mission?
Well, so everything that we've tried to do thus far, we call it aesthetic evangelism. We've tried to respect the original architecture of the building, but God made us to enjoy beautiful things.
Yes, sir.
We want the house of God to be more beautiful than any of our homes.
That's right.
We want it to be more accommodating and more inviting and welcoming to the stranger, to the foreigner, people who are not part of our faith family when they come in. And so a part of that now is a redesign of the seating in the sanctuary. And when you see the image, we're going to shift the 4 sections into a new set of multiple sections and aisles that fan out. We're going to replace our pews with theater seating so that every person will have an individual seat. Believe it or not, it will increase our seating capacity on the main floor while it increases the space for our stage to grow. Because we want a stage that we can change from season to season, that we can improve with lighting and with shifting instruments and with props as we see fit. Right now, our stage, though it's an improvement upon where we've been, it really does limit us in that ability. This new vision will give us an opportunity to flex our muscle with our kids, with our production, with our music and arts. Also, we are finally, by the grace of God, going to improve our lighting. We love the lighting in the church, but it's not camera friendly. You know, when the pandemic happened, a lot of churches had to halt and stop because the media quality was not such that it could reach an audience, a digital audience. Well, we don't have a choice now. We've come to see that the world can shut down. Plus, the audience online is very often bigger than the audience in person in these places. And so, to do ceiling clouds that read "Jesus is Lord" up at the top when you walk in, and to see the light coming in so people in the balcony aren't in the dark, and I can actually see them. Unless we want to be in the dark, you know, we can control the lighting in that regard. It's a big deal. And then Barris will love this. The music ministry will appreciate this. It will improve the acoustics in the sanctuary so that the sound quality will be soft when it needs to be and strong when it needs to be. And I guess I should have said finally here, but the men's bathrooms, we've been going to the latrines.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, it's like soldiers out to battle. The sisters for many years have enjoyed upgrade restroom accommodations. Well, it's time for the brothers to get that as well. Now that's in the building. Outside of the building, we want to increase our fleet of church buses. We want to be able to pick up people and bring them to church. Our seniors, that's a vital ministry to us.
Yes, sir.
People who live in isolated conditions, who do not have friends and relationships with folk who can come. And then we also want to be able to run those shuttles to do kid programming through the week, during the summer especially. And it will require that we have more than one bus to get that done. Last but not least, well, we finally got approval from the city to finish the Counseling and Justice Center. I feel like we should
applause
hit a
there. That's right.
All the confetti falls right there. And so we're in good shape to do that. But I think those pieces will enlarge our campus footprint, but it also will enlarge the tentacles of our outreach. And when people come in, they will sit in this sanctuary and go, oh my goodness, this is beautiful, because God made us to enjoy beautiful things.
Yes,
and it will all point to the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm excited about that.
I know many of Progressive Chicago members are saying, this is wonderful.
Right.
How can we make it happen?
Yeah, so, you know, Progressive is a church with no debt. We're very grateful for that. I cannot promise that it will be that way in perpetuity. I mean, like if we ever need to build a building or something like that, it can happen. I mean, somebody could just give us $3 or $4 million.
That's right, Doc.
Yeah, you know, that can happen. But what we've tried to do is to do everything debt-free, and it's no difference now. We're asking 350 individual members at Progressive, or if you are a non-member regular attendee, you can do this too, to make a commitment and deliver on this commitment of $1,500 above your tithes and your offerings. So if we do that and we actually come through at that number, we can pay for everything we just discussed without having to borrow a dime. And so people will be asking, well, what day do you want to do that? I would say we want to aim to have all of the families and the individuals up to 350, at least 350, to make this commitment and deliver on $1,500 by the first Sunday in July. I have to pull up the date on that, but I really was aiming for Independence Day.
Yes, sir.
as a way for us to celebrate our independence. But that's Sunday, July the 2nd. And you could have a little bit of time thereafter. But really, if we did that, and let me tell you how good God is. Without even asking, we had a member to respond just to the announcement of the new seats with a major gift. I mean, a major gift, probably one of the single biggest gifts given this year, specifically for this project. So I take that as a God wink.
Yes, sir.
That God is already softening the hearts of our fellowship to say we want to be responsible. We want to build a house where the Spirit of God will meet us and that is comfortable. And I'm sure this church will do it. They've rallied to every call that we have made. Just such a wonderful, wonderful, gifted people of God.
Yes, they have. And another thing that you have taught me is leadership leads in that vein.
Yeah.
So Progressive, this is what the Johnson household is gonna do. That $1,500 that Pastor Dates spoke about, we're gonna double that. We're gonna double that. Rihanna, I know this is the first time you're hearing about it, but you know, when it's a God thing, we just walk by faith and not by sight.
I will say this too as we finish. You know, it's a privilege to partner with God. We talk about money and people get nervous about money, but no, money's a tool. It's a resource to partner with God to get God's work done in the world. Well, we're dead and gone. The only thing we will leave will be that which we did for Christ.
Amen.
And money is that tool that God gives us to do it. So view clicking those buttons on Givelify, or if you're like us, writing a check, or if you're pulling out cash, view that as partnership with God. You are linking with God to get that done. And when you do that, how much is too much? Well, I think 1,500 or 3,000 or whatever we get cannot tally the blessings that God has given to us and the ways He has enriched us. So this is a privilege.
Yes,
we're going to partner together and we're going to partner with God to get this done.
Amen.
Thank you all, Progressive.
Thank you, Progressive. Love you.